Developing right now, state and federal agencies are working to figure out what caused a deadly boat crash over the weekend. Crews pulled the bodies of 2 men from the James River this morning. 13 News Now reporter Nico Clemens looks at what we know about the crash.
Tonight, the search for 2 missing boaters from Emporia is over. Their families now desperate for answers.
It's been a very long, short weekend.
Newport News firefighters pulled the bodies of Leroy Parker and Robert Coleman out of the James River this morning. The 2 men disappeared after their boat crashed with an oyster barge Saturday morning. 13 News Now spoke with the family of one of the men over the weekend. They told us the men were good friends. They were out fishing with 4 other people, something they did often.
It will set some closure in, at least to the families.
Divers found the first body in the water in the area of the Victory Landing Park. The second, not too far away. Deputy Fire Chief Kenneth Lay says when they found the 2 men, they did not have on life jackets.
When you have people on your boat that are not very strong swimmers, and they don't have life preservers on, that's just a challenge in itself.
Saturday's accident is the 3rd water-related incident in Newport News in less than a month. I brought up the other boating accidents to Chief Lay, one from June 25th and the other just days later on June 28th. Fortunately, in each accident, those on board made it out alive. Chief Lay says now is the time to stress safety on the water.
And for this time of year, if you're going to be on the water, you need to make sure that you're safe.
Virginia Marine Police and the U.S. Coast Guard are now investigating this accident and hope to answer many questions. In Newport News, Nico Clemens, 13 News Now.